Good evening, Odie Hawkins.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
I don't know. Are you ready for this moments in time?
Hey, I'm ready for all the moments in time you got.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
Okay.
Okay, let me come and join you.
Good. We were talking yesterday about Ghana once again.
Yeah.
We had our trip together in Ghana, but I wanted to take it back a bit before we went together to when I first went.
Please, I've always loved hearing
Okay,
that.
yeah.
It's really
And
very interesting.
I'm telling you, I could make it vignettes all day long. Let me start here. Somebody says to me, like my friend Herb, Odie, why do you want to go to Ghana? You don't know anybody there. Well, yeah, I do, Herb, but Herb was not one of these ancestral guys. He was very practical.
Yes.
And
most people are.
Yeah.
You just don't.
How you gonna make a living?
Yes.
I don't know. What are you gonna do? I don't know.
And when you landed in Ghana, how much money did you have?
I had $50.
You had $50.
But wait. But here, what had occurred to me is that if you can have people come here, well, granted, it's a totally different situation. But if you can go anywhere and you have some faith in your capabilities to hustle,
right? That does help.
That's what it came. You want to turn your children around a little bit toward me? Oh, hey. I like your outfit.
Well, thank you, sir.
The skirt looks tight.
Well, it was tight in 2004. It was tight in 2004.
Oh, it's still tight.
When we got married.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is the dress I wore.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
That evening.
I see how it's tight and where it's tight and still tight where it was tight.
We're working on it.
But anyway, we get off the subject.
But not too tight.
No.
Okay.
You're a woman with good taste. You don't do stuff like that.
Thank you.
1992. It wasn't like I decided to go to Ghana to seek my African roots or anything like that. I've been thinking about going to Africa for a long time. I had written off, I love the idea of travel.
Right.
And I had written off the idea of India because it just, the swarming crowds, I just couldn't see it.
Right.
China, same reason. But I thought, Africa, yeah. There's an ancestral reason.
Right.
There's something in my DNA that says, it'll be cool. So I got two advance payments from Holloway House to do it, which came to like $2,500, something like that. And that got me round-trip tickets. And like I said, yeah, I did. I landed with $50 in my pocket. But I had connections. I've spoken about this couple before, and I promised them always that I would speak ill of them. I know. Some people say, don't speak ill of the dead, don't talk. I'm not in that genre. I carry grudges. I
know, you're my own personal
pitbull.
Okay,
no,
yes.
Slap my face, and we got a problem.
Okay.
I'm not going to turn the other side and all of that. But I knew these people from here, from the States.
More or less you were acquainted to them. You did not
We were not,
know them.
exactly. We were not ever buddies. We didn't hang out together, but I knew them. Anyway, they had gone to Ghana some years before. The man had lived there early in the 80s, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. You never told me that before.
He came back here, got married, and he and his wife went back there. But we had been, exchanging mail about what I could do. And they, explained that they had a 3-bedroom house.
All right.
Something that was kind of easy for some people to get in 1992
Okay.
because there was 9,000 cedis to the dollar. So somebody getting a Social Security check here or some kind of pension would be a very good circumstances there. Okay, so I hop on the plane, get off in Accra.
What plane did you take?
What
plane did you take?
I took Ghana Airlines.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, from here, I went to New York, and from New York, yeah, we took, I'm sorry, British Airways. British Airways.
Okay.
I took Ghana back here. Off, landed at Kotoko Airport, which is a mess at the time. I'm talking I want everybody who is listening to this thing, 1992, Ghana was semi-primitive.
Yes,
It was, it was like the Middle Ages in some ways. It was a third world country. People were surviving. They were doing okay, but there was no safety in that. There was no, unless you were an army vet who had a little pension or something. The people lived from day to day.
Well, I know when we went in 2013, and I went to the bathroom there, and they had basically like a little tub thing with a hose so that you could straddle it. It was interesting.
Well, you came along when facilities had improved.
And I thought that was interesting that it must have been improved.
Prior to that, there was no hole. I mean, there was you dug your own hole.
Okay.
But you know, I didn't go expecting to be at the Ritz or anything. I settled in with these people. We had a horrible relationship together for 8 months. I stayed in their house for 8 months, and I say openly that it was a horrible 8 months because they were very, I don't know, there's something, they were warped. You know?
I understand he had a drinking problem.
Yeah, he had a serious drinking problem. He had an operation. Beer in Ghana is very good, very nutritious,
Yes, it is.
very thirst quenching. You are non-beer drinker.
Most definitely. I do not like beer.
Yeah.
But in Ghana,
But it was cold.
oh my God.
I don't want to advertise brands or anything like that, but ABC, Club Beer,
Club
Star.
beer. Yes.
I mean, when it was cold, it would quench your thirst. It wouldn't get you, you know, all rocky. And, you know, you'd see people stopping in the middle of a work day and having a cold beer.
Right, I
Because
can see that.
okay, first of all, the beer is pasteurized. I'm taking us back to a time when there were certain diseases that were rampant. And that's one reason why I would like to entitle this little section of our talk, Malaria and TV. Malaria and TV.
All right. That, now that is an interesting title.
Believe me, it was. I've been there for about 2 months, trying to find my way. Living in Osu, it's a little section. Ghana, Accra is divided into different sections. Osu is near Labadi, right near the ocean. There's Teshi Nungwa, which is a little bit up the coast. There's a highway that runs from like Teshi Nungwa straight down through Osu into Jamestown. So you get on this road, and you can take a taxi from Teshi Nungwa, which is very nice. I lived there for a while, finally. But we were living in Osu, and Osu at the time was what my friends of mine would call a slum ghetto.
Okay.
Not a ghetto, not a slum. Slum ghetto.
Okay.
It was.
But not as bad as Jamestown.
No, nothing was as bad as Jamestown.
Which was near the government facilities, which is fascinating, just before the government.
Okay, here's the government parliament houses right here, and about 300 yards down the road, there's Jamestown.
Yes.
The smell that you smell when we went there came from the fact that Jamestown had a slaughterhouse at one point. So when the wind kicked up, you could smell slaughter. You could smell animals all over the place. Anyway, I'm there, just there. I had no intention of doing anything other than write. You know, I was very interested in the Pan-African occult. I wanted to find out why it was that I was not interested in vampires and those kind of people you get from the Transylvanian castles,
Right.
you know, in the middle of the night. Woo!
Okay. Culturally, not
culturally, that's
right.
it didn't fit me. I was checking that out.
Mm-hmm.
After 2-3 months, well, I got my first case of malaria a month after I was there. I decided I wanted to learn some Ga, the principal languages in Accra. The principal languages are Ga and Tree, and the different dialects of Ga and different dialects of Tree. And then there's Adangme and Hausa and Nzema, and I think there's something like 500 different languages and dialects spoken in a place that's about the size of Montana.
But still, most people do speak English.
Okay, our friend Susan Amagashi is the one.
Yes. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan. Susan Amagashi is the one who suggested that the English colonization helped Ghana out a lot because well, they said that about India too, with all of those languages and cultures and people. That if it hadn't been for the English people, there would have been just a tribal pushing scene. So English, in effect, both colonized the people's minds, but at the same time unified their common purposes with a common language.
Right.
The people who spoke the best English, many times were not the best Ghanaians. You know, because they had drank the Kool-Aid.
Okay.
They believed that being in merry old England, they could recite the English, the people in the English royal family.
Oh my.
And yeah, and didn't know certain things about their own country that they should have known. But that's my opinion.
Right.
Anyway, after about 2 months, I had my first case of malaria. I was studying Ga, G-A, with a lady who was a maid, and it was, to me, a linguistic miracle because she spoke about 7 languages. English, as a matter of course, they call it the money tongue. She spoke English. She was Ede, so she spoke Ede. She had been married to a man who was a Ga, so she spoke Ga. She spoke Adangme. She spoke a little Hausa and Nzema. And when I last checked her out, she was working for some attaché to the Chinese government that she was learning Chinese.
Okay.
And she thought nothing of it. She said, it's like God, you know, it's tonal.
Right.
So, okay.
Okay. Well, you know, you got that developed mind like that, you know.
Well, she wasn't hemmed in the way we are. We teach our kids in a monolingual way, except for those who come from other places. And the kids pick up the mother tongue, because that's maybe all their grandma speaks.
Yes.
But in many cases, as we know here, people who are second generation, they have a hell of a time speaking Korean.
Right.
Or look at the thing we had with our friend Wing, who was trying.
Oh, yes.
What's that? D or Lee? Anyways,
right, the Y instructor.
Yeah, she was a Y. We went to there to teach capoeira, which is another story along the way. But she was trying to speak to some Vietnamese woman in Vietnamese, and the woman just told her,
"Speak English."
Speak
English. You know, right.
Oh, but it was a terrible put down.
It was definitely, you know, but that is often the case. You know, the children get so acclimated comfortable being Western
Yeah.
and almost like throwing off the yoke of their culture.
Yeah.
So that way they
Avoiding
can't.
your own culture.
Yeah, well, it's like a weight to them as opposed to something that they should take pride in, your roots.
Okay, we would think that, I think, and it has something to do with the fact that our languages were taken from us.
That's true.
Okay, that's one thing,
Mm-hmm.
which means that, you know, a lot of our people would like to learn their ancestral language, whatever it was, but, you know, we discover that it ain't quite that easy.
Well, you know, I think that's when you pointed out to me how people are learning Swahili, and Swahili is not.
Okay, yeah, that was the funniest thing.
Right.
Okay, anybody can pick up Swahili if they can concentrate long enough.
Okay.
Okay, the language that most people use instead of Swahili is Lingala,
Okay.
but nobody ever heard about Lingala, despite the fact that millions of people in South and in the West and Central Africa speak, the Bantu people speak Lingala, and you never heard of it. You know,
Right.
we were in a dentist's office or someplace one day, your friend's law office, and there was a guy in there. I don't know how we wound up having a conversation, and it got to Lingala. Why is it that African Americans don't pick up on Lingala as an ancestral language? The primary reason is that it's too complicated. You know, the suffixes and prefixes, in addition to that, tonal languages can just wipe you out.
Right.
If you don't grow up hearing the difference between new and this and that and this and that. I'm taking you to my first hit of malaria. I was in Ghana for 2 months, maybe less, maybe 6 weeks. I'm studying with this lady, Grace Hulabor.
Hello, Grace.
Expert. The first letter is H-L-O-V-O-R. Hulabor. She's going to teach me Ga. We're sitting there on a bench, and I suddenly begin to feel very dreamy. You know, like, well, I'm thinking I haven't had anything to drink. I haven't had anything to smoke, because one does not smoke in Ghana. They think they call them weed heads, and they understand that if you smoke weed, you must be a Rastafari, and or you must be half crazy. And in some cases, that's true.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm sitting here, I'm beginning to have this woozy feeling, and I think, you know, and she's pretty sensitive. So, you know, what are you feeling? So I don't know, I feel lightheaded. I feel lightheaded. She said, okay, go home. At that point, I was living down the road with this couple, about 200 yards away. Go home, and I will bring you some pills, some tabs to lap, they say.
Tabs to lap.
I will bring you some tabs.
Tabs to lap?
To lap, L-A-P.
Okay.
To lap. To lap. What you talking about? What you talking about?
That's interesting. Very colorful.
I mean, yeah, you know, the difference changes. Sit up, somebody
yes,
said.
yes.
Yeah. Behavior, I mean,
Yes,
attend, you know, pay attention or something. So it hit me on the way down the road that I was having a feeling like I never had before. I thought, you know, maybe I ate something, or maybe, I don't know what it is. But I got to my place, I went to the room that I was renting, and curled up on the bed, and in a fetal position, I started going through something that I really understand when they talk about malaria and what a killer it is, and the reason they haven't come up with a vaccine, a total vaccine for malaria, is because there's no money in it. The people who get malaria are very poor.
Right.
it's changing because malaria is not like the virus. The virus affects everybody, so they hurried up and got a vaccine for it because they could both cure people of the problem and make money. Malaria has been around for a long time, and they never tried really hard. It was an African ailment. It was a Mediterranean ailment. So I'm sitting there, laying there on the bed.
Right.
Sweat is pouring out of me. I'm burning up, and at the same time I'm freezing to death.
Wow.
What happens is that the female mosquito of a certain species, there are many different kinds of malaria. I can't remember how many, but you get a cerebral malaria. There's it affects you different kind of ways. The one that came to me first early on was cerebral malaria. Your head is exploding. The sweat is pouring off you. You're burning up. Your backbone, you're shivering because you're cold. It's that doesn't make any sense. I'm sweating because I'm hot, but I'm freezing to death. So you cover yourself up. Now you're hot because you covered yourself up. And
wow.
The lady who was the lady of the house, she passed by my room. There's another reason why we hated each other. And she looks in, she said, "Oh, got malaria, huh?"
Oh my.
It kept on going.
No concern, no...
They were heartless. They were heartless. They were selfish, nasty people. So rather than speak ill of the dead, I'll just keep on speaking ill of them. My friend came down to my house a couple hours later with some pills. She had been a nurse.
Oh,
and
wow.
she must have been a pretty good pharmacist because she said, "Okay, lap this, then lap this, and then 2 hours later, lap this." Anyway, there were about 6 different pills of different kind of colors. I went through about 5 days of hell. The first thing I would suggest for people who would like to lose some weight, get malaria. I'm just joking, because within 5 days I went from like 160 to 150.
Wow.
Because we're just water anyway.
Right. Okay.
And when the water goes, you
immediately lost 10 pounds within the 5 days.
Within just laying there. I could get up. Once again, the lady brought me some awful food to eat. It was something that would taste like grease balls or greasy meatballs or something. I can't. Say, okay, you eat this. This is the best food for you because you can't eat ordinary food. There's also something that I was eating that was called kinky. Kinky made in a certain kind of way, and it was not gar kinky. It was another kind of kinky made by another tribal group. Their kinky is very light and very different. This looks like yellow grains. Anyway, it helped to keep me. 5 days later, I got up, went back about my business.
Wow.
From that point on, for the next 3 years, I had malaria all the time.
I know you
And
said
most
they
times,
called you the
malaria king.
Yeah.
I started doing everything. I got about my business. I think the episode with malaria sort of stirred me up to thinking about, wait a minute, what do you want to do here? You just can't lay around and have malaria. You've got to get control of yourself.
Right.
The lady of the house, I give her this credit. She said, "Listen, there's a man who's in charge of the Ghana Institute of Journalism. His name is Kojo Yankah. He wants to put on a television show, a detective television show. They didn't have one in West Africa.
Okay.
Not anywhere in West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So she, to her credit, well, she got what she wanted to get out of it too.
Right.
To her credit, she took me. I met Kojo Yankah at the School of Journalism, the Ghana School of Journalism. He had the idea to do a television show about a detective, but he honestly admitted that, well, you know, I don't know too much about the genre. So, are you qualified? Could you do it? Yes, I could do it. Well, I got busy and wrote what they called the Bible for the Inspector Bediako show. I wanted to have a detective who was like a Sherlock Holmes. He would be like Columbo and some other detective. No wild chases through the streets.
Right.
No shootings. No explicit love scenes.
Oh.
It was very sort of
Very clean cut.
clean cut.
Mm-hmm.
The guy solved his problem by induction or deduction. And we moved forward. It was a hit.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I was edging myself out of the home of these horrible people I was staying with. But it was hard to find this place. I had the money. That was what was killing me. Now I got thousands of CDs. I'm walking around in the streets with a bag full of money.
Right.
I mean, that used to drive me nuts because I would go somewhere and sit up and drink beer, have the Chinese food and so forth, and I'd only spent $8.
Wow.
$8, $9. I got into a little directing of the Inspector Bediako show. It was I have to say, I'm dividing this little talk into two sections. Malaria and television.
Right.
The television part was really a groove. The people I had a chance to work with understood my limitations because, I had been asked honestly, can you direct it? I said, yes, I could. I never said I had. But, you know,
but
I knew.
all the Fellini and all the movies.
But,
right,
you know, last night we were watching Sayid Ray's Apu series.
That was good. Yeah, right.
So in Chicago, I had grown up watching the great foreign movie makers, Antonioni, Fellini, Bergman, name them. I mean, anybody.
Right.
You could see them at some point or other, either at the University of Chicago Film or the Hyde Park Theater, or read. I read everything, so I've been reading.
Well, you still do. So that was.
Catch up bottles, whatever. So now I'm writing and directing segments of the Inspector Bediako show. Interwoven with teaching capoeira classes in the fitness studio, in the fitness studio run by my friend, African-American brother named Tyrone, right across the road from the Country Kitchen.
And the Country Kitchen is one of my favorite spots, yes.
Memba.
Yeah.
I was doing everything I thought I wanted to do, except for the periods of sickness. And that was kind of really a bad trip because here I am, today is Monday. And I wake up on Monday, the mosquito is so sneaky that you cannot feel it bite you.
Right.
So that, you know, they tell people.
Fine art.
Yeah. What they do, I believe, is suck your blood out and discharge. It's like a hypodermic needle, right?
Right.
So the infusion goes through your blood, through whatever, and the little mosquito causes you a lot of grief, you know, because I was taking chloroquine and fluoroquine, the two better known drugs. I don't know if they're drugs or whatever they are. They're antidotes for malaria. The thing about either one of them is that you get a shot of fluoroquine, and it would get rid of all of the malaria in your head except for this little spot right here.
Oh, wow.
So that you would have, right here would be like a major war was happening, right?
Whoa.
In a little patch here. So now you have to get another shot, hoping that it will do that.
Trigger that one spot. Wow.
And usually it did. I tell you the story of finding out that the best shots for malaria they were having at a maternity clinic. And when I found out about it, I got into the line with everybody else. I didn't have this on when I was there.
Okay.
But I got it the other night. You got one too.
Yes.
But here I am in the line with these ladies, and they're saying, they're making jokes about, you know,
Right.
Where's your pregnancy in the back?
Yes.
The doctor comes out.
It's been by.
The doctor comes out and says, you know, what is the matter? Yes. I have malaria. Oh, yes, come. So I think they had the purest, the best, and it would usually knock it out within 2 or 3 days, and you wind up with an immense thirst.
Okay.
I mean, I drank a dozen orange pops one day,
Right.
just sitting there, cause
Orange pop. Oh, the
orange soda.
Okay.
Minerals.
Mineral,
I'm
that's what they
drinking
call it.
minerals.
Right.
But meanwhile, there's the Inspector Bediako show,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a chance to see.
You remember some of the actors that you worked with?
Akuzwa Abdallah, Edina Matachi, David Dontoy, Donovan Hunter, what's this guy's name? Provençal. There was an actor who came from Liberia, of all places.
Oh, really?
I can't remember his name, but Susan, he came over to visit her. I keep mentioning Susan in passing, and I think this is as good a time as any to talk about a very special lady in Ghana.
Yes, she is.
During the course of the time I was staying with these horrible people, the guy gets drunk one day and says, hey, listen, I want you to go with me over here to, I got something to do at this lady's house. Named Susan Amagashi. I don't know who Susan is. She lived, at the time, she lived in Labone, which is the upscale.
Which they now call La?
No, that's Labadi.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
Labadi meant the bad ones.
Okay.
So
now they
changed the name to La.
La, just that.
Because they didn't want to be called Labadi. Labone
okay.
is an upscale area. Here's downtown Osu, and you go up the road to Labone. And the difference is almost immediate because people have estates.
Right.
You know, they have the nice walls around their places and so forth and so on. Susan Amagashi is the daughter, one of the daughters of one of the richest men in Ghana, was one of the richest men, and also one of the nicest people I've ever met, who gave her his daughter by an English woman. So that made Susan a half caste, as she said. She remembers, I can't think of anybody offhand, but she's such a delightful spirit. She's full of energy.
Get up and go.
Get up and go. Her father gave her this, I don't know the whole inside story, but that's not my business. I just know the outer layer, and that's fantastic enough. The father gave her some land in Labone, an estate, with some like huts on the estate. about 5 or 6 of them, and then a main house like this house, and told her to do something with it if she wanted to do something with it. So she established a Montessori school, which was one of the first in Ghana, first in that part of the world, Father.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, the Montessori teaching method is something that, to me, goes a little bit beyond traditional teaching, because it gives the student a chance to participate in their own learning process.
Right.
And, it's more complicated than I can talk about. She'd be able to do it.
Most definitely.
But we went to visit her, and I liked her. She was all the things we talked about.
Right.
I made it my business from that point on to go to her place after school, which is when we would have, I say we, she invited those of us who were interested in life, living, and the pursuit of everything to come and sit. I call it a salon, because in the old-fashioned sense of the word, it was an intellectual meeting ground.
Wow.
People came from all over the world to this place in Lamboni, to Susan Amagashi's house. And we sat there and we drank copious amounts of beer and tried to solve every one of the world's problems. I think maybe we did, but I don't remember what probably were. So we,
great rap session. Okay.
She didn't censor people. I think religion was off the table, and of course no one insulted anybody. There was none of this.
Right.
I'm better than you.
Everybody's civil at the time.
It was civil discourse. Civil discourse.
That's great.
I managed to get out of the horrible home because I couldn't take it anymore. I finally found a place to stay in a place called the Fair Gardens Hotel, which was mosquito-ridden.
Oh, you be careful of, right.
I didn't know
careful
that
with names, right. Okay.
So I go from the frying pan into the hot skillet,
Right.
but it was better.
Well, I know you told me you shower with mosquitoes.
The shower, the mosquitoes would hang out in the shower waiting for you to come,
Yes.
and then take bets on who would get your first bite. I got him first. Meanwhile, I was teaching at the Accra Girls Secondary School, finding out a lot about what it is that Africans didn't know about us. Quite a bit, I found. This was I stayed there from 1992 to 1995. So in the 3 years, I had a chance to teach school. I was also teaching capoeira to a group of really great young people in Osu, boys and girls, young men and young women. I insisted on young women also who wanted to be a part of it. I got a little resistance at first, but I overcame the resistance by simply putting everybody in their place.
Okay.
And I made it clear that if they didn't want to have
Nice.
the girls in the class, then we would not have a class. So
You're very diplomatic.
well, I understood the male chauvinist point of view. This is going to be for us guys, and but if there were girls who wanted to learn, and they were, so they came in.
There you go.
And they became quite good at it. If we had had the opportunity to go to Brazil, I think they would have made quite an impression, because they were very talented capoeiristas. For those who know something about the African-Brazilian martial art called capoeira, you know that it involves a singing as well as a dance martial art. There's songs connected to it. I'll give you an example. Zola, can you give me the chorus to the song? Eu nasço daqui,
marinheiro sou,
eu não tenho amor,
marinheiro sou,
Eso da Bahia, marinheiro sou, de San Salvador, marinheiro sou. Oh, marinheiro, marinheiro, marinheiro sou. Quem foi te ensinou a nadar? Marinheiro sou. Oh, foi a tambo do navio, marinheiro sou. Oh, foi a balanço do mar, marinheiro sou. Lá vem, marinheiro sou. Lá vem, meu amor, marinheiro sou. Ah, tudo de branco. Marinheiro sou, de São Salvador, marinheiro sou, lá vem, marinheiro sou, lá vem, meu amor, marinheiro sou, ah, tudo de branco, marinheiro sou, de São Salvador, marinheiro sou. It's kind of a love song. Anyway, it's one of the traditional songs in Capoeira, Angola, Capoeira Regional. We sang songs.
Plus, they made some of their own songs.
They made up. Mr. Odie, they call him. Mr. Odie. We can we sing in our own language? Yeah, what? Yeah, why not? So they made up some capoeira songs in Ga. Right. And I wish I could remember some of them.
I know I had one on my phone, and before I got a new phone, and Eddie.
Yeah.
Okay, the priest.
But we were trying to. I knew some songs. I knew some songs in Yoruba, and they didn't take to that very much because they wanted to sing songs in God. Anyway, I'll have to skip past it because they didn't know the Yoruba song. Came back here in 1995 and stayed for quite a while before I made another trip to Ghana, 2 more trips to Ghana with the inimitable Zola Salena-Hawkins. And that's what we're going to get to when we come back.
Again. All right, now pull out some of the pictures.
I thought I that's why I was saying in this second, because we could show pictures of.
That we really were there.
Yeah.
Right, Susan?
All I can say is that if you have the urge, well, hopefully, the plague will lighten up to the point where you will be able to get on a plane and go to some distant place and not be endangered. I would not suggest that anybody get on a plane and go to any distant place where there are no medical facilities to take care of you and so forth. But everything is coming. Everything is coming.
And also, I would suggest that in going to Ghana, that helped sort of make you able to weave in which you weaved in for the snake doctor and for the snake 2020.
Yes.
Okay, that the exposure to the motherland.
Well, okay, it's what made me really come up with the idea of the Pan-African occult. And I'll explain it briefly. Everyone has a sense of the occult. You know, there are people in Eastern Europe who have Tevi, the fiddle on the roof thing. There's some people in wherever you can name the Indonesian shadow shows and Hindu mythology with Shiva and all of that. The African American Pan-African as a species within the pantheon, as one of the species within the pantheon, we could say that, okay, well, you got people black people in Martinique who believe in a certain thing, and black people in Jamaica who believe in a certain thing. In Jamaica they call it Obeah.
Okay.
And some of the ancestral figures might be called Duppies. Somebody says the Duppies over there. Everywhere you go, where there's African presence, we have invented our own way of thinking about the supernatural, and we don't come up with vampires and people having stakes through their hearts and all this kind of stuff. I got to be back in my casket before dawn. No. First of all, in Ghana, if you try to get back in your casket before dawn, somebody may have rented it out.
Rented it out, right? Somebody else is living there.
Hey, somebody else is there. That really helped matters along for a lot, because I did meet people who were into traditional Africa. Oh, and the song we came up with in Capoeira and God was one of them. Kaje Wande, Ababowe. It is this right? Kaje Wande, Ababowe, Kaje Wande, Abashibowe, Kaje Wande. So what are you saying? Do not mess with us, we will
sack you.
We will sack you.
That's the one that Eddie Ofori sang on my phone, and I missed with his deep, rich voice. Which reminds me, he's having some church event on May 6th in Ghana.
Is that
big to do? Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Edwin Ofori-Barr's church.
Pastor Edwin Ofori-Barr, who was early on one of my more talented capoeira students,
yes.
And he went on to become Pastor Edwin Ofori-Barr, yes. And I'm very pleased to say we have been in touch and been friends since that day, and we look forward to seeing him and his family, his wife Esther. At some point in time, history repeats itself, so we're going around and around the world. Anyway, I want to get out of here because there's some other things I have to do.
I know you're writing in the book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Black authors write.
Yes.
That's why we matter.
That's
why we matter. If you don't write, you don't matter. I'll say that openly. If you don't write, you don't matter.
Well, I surely enjoyed this moment.
But remember, this moment in time. Remember, in the coming session, we're going to talk about specifically our 2 trips to Ghana.
Yes, and totally enjoyed it, definitely. And the first major trip out of America. And, you know, just the...
I like traveling out of America.
I like traveling out of America. But I also like coming back. Ever hoping that America will be the America it wants to be.
The only way it's going to happen is that we make it by coming back.
This is true. Right?
We served a lot of time and put in a lot of working hours here.
Yes. So next Monday, I hope you will join us in another Moments in Time. Okay? Ashe.
Kajewane ababowe, Kajewane abashibowe, Kajewane ababowe, Kajewane abashibowe.
Bye bye for now.
Kajewane ababowe, Kajewane.